The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack this like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
Before we start the show, we want to thank our sponsors, Pillars. Pillars is the best clothing line in the Chicagoland area. If you're looking for a dope hoodie, a sweatsuit, shirts, shoes, or even stuff for your kids, Pillars is where you should go. You can visit any of their 4 store locations in the Chicagoland area or visit pillarsclub.co and order online. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. I am your host, Scott. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarberChatScott. You can follow the Barbers Chat Network and at Barbers Chat Net on Twitter and Instagram, and also follow H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram. Man, it is Monday, February 5th, 2024, man. I am live here from very rainy Los Angeles, California. Tony lied when they said it don't rain in Southern California. It's been raining like a motherfucker for the last 24 hours. I'm just glad my power ain't out. So everything is going on out here. So we got a packed show for you, man. We're going to bring in our guest, Jeff Allen, in just a minute. We've got Pavi joining us later in the show for Weekend in the Association. We're going to go over all of the topics going on in the NBA, of course. And, of course, if you subscribe to our Patreon, man, patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. You can sign up for the $5 I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier, where we do I'm Not Gonna Hold You Overtime, which is after each show, which is basically the Chicago Sports Local Hour. Today we will have the full crew on there. It will be me, Dante, JR Bang, and Mikey talking about everything that's going on with the Chicago Bears. It's been a crazy weekend, so we'll get into that, man. So I'm going to start off with my sound off, man. Here, my sound off. It has been a very hectic couple days for the Chicago Bulls. Zach LaVine is out for the year. You'll be having leg surgery at the end of this week to take care of that. He'll be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And even though the Bulls have been playing better, they are currently the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. It is just continues to be a circle of mediocrity. And my note to Chicago sports fans is you don't have to deal with this. You can give it up. Now, I'm not saying that you can completely just not root for the team, because I will always root for the Chicago Bulls, just like I will always root for the Chicago Bears. I will not, but I treat them like I don't have kids, and I've used this analogy multiple times on the show, but they're like having your kid in the living room. You're just not really paying attention to them like that until you see they picked up a remote or something dangerous. That exactly is what the Chicago Bulls have been this season. So I need you to take all the emotional investment out of it, because they're not going to do anything. This is basically a mom and pop shop. You got an owner in Jerry Reinsdorf who clearly does not care about winning. He does not care about your feelings. You need to take this together and just realize this team is being mediocre outside of that little time that Michael Jordan was here and he won 6 championships. Greatest dynasty ever. It has been the same organization. If you're waiting for the glory days, it's not going to happen. Even when you had Derrick Rose and he was dominant, even before he got hurt, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals and went against the Miami Heat. What did they do the next year? They're trying to make up the gap. They signed Richard Hamilton like that was going to be something that was going to beat them, take them from beating LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. And it's just been something that we've seen consistently. They're not going to do the necessary things to win to get them to that next level like other franchises have been doing. If you look through the Zach LaVine era, what have they ever really surrounded Zach with? I mean, Zach does have his issues, of course, but this team put together a good team a couple years ago, got Lonzo Ball, got DeMar DeRozan. Then Lonzo Ball unfortunately got hurt, and they just did nothing to be able to pivot from that. It's 4 years later, and we're still waiting for Lonzo Ball to get healthy. And now you've got the situation where Zach LaVine is hurt. We should have traded him a couple weeks ago. And I know the market wasn't as good as everybody wanted it to be, but this is pretty much you just had to give him up so you just don't have that sitting on your books. Now we're a couple days away from the NBA trade deadline. If the Bulls are smart, and we know they're not, they will trade away Alex Caruso. They will trade away DeMar DeRozan. They will get to the point where basically all they have to do is just rebuild and start over, because that is the best way for this team to get back to prominence and just even being a team that is more entertaining to watch. There's nothing entertaining about playing basketball, and that's just something where I need Bulls fans, and I know you're probably not going to do this, take your emotion away from it and look at this thing reasonably. It is a wrap for those guys on the Madhouse at Madison, if you want to even call it the Madhouse anymore, man. As we bring in before we run our guests, we'll bring in Dante. Dante, what is going on, brother?
I'm chilling, bro. You preaching a song I've been singing for years. Any team owned by Jerry Reinsdorf, we kind of know what the business is. So this is new territory for some, but for those, welcome. We've been here for a while now. It's time to stop being mediocre. You got to blow it up. At this point, it's over, bro. You really got to let it go.
Definitely, man. Let's bring in our first guest today, man. We have got Chicago's own former NFL guard turned entrepreneur, Jeff Allen, man. He played college ball at the University of Illinois, played 9 years in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans, Super Bowl 54 champion. He started the Cookie Society in 2018 with his wife, Marissa Allen. And Cookie Shop, for those of you who don't know, is a gourmet cookie shop based in Frisco, Texas. And, of course, he is also from the crib, from Chicago. Jeff, how you doing, my guy?
I'm good, man. I want to start off, man. Y'all got the coldest intro in the podcast game, bro. Shout out to the boy, Illinois, man. That was dope. I appreciate y'all having me, though, man.
Shout out my boy Illy, man. Illy, one of my longtime friends, man. He definitely knocked that out the park for us, man. But definitely glad to have you here, man. Definitely glad to get everything you've got going on, man. Super Bowl week here, everything's been going on. So let's just get right into it, man. Let's tell everybody about what your journey has been. One thing I like, as an entrepreneur myself, and seeing how people, come from one spot and going to another. We all went to Chicago public schools. I went to Curie, High School, class 2007. And you went to King. So tell me just how your grind was from graduating from King to going to the U of I and then basically getting to the NFL.
And it was a perfect transition, man. From King, man, I always been an entrepreneur. First off, I was that guy that was selling candy in between periods. During the school, I was skipping classes, selling candy in the hallway. That was what I was doing. But the football grind was something that I saw early on. Probably about 6th, 7th grade. My uncle played at the University of Miami. Came back home, was coaching at King, but he always instilled that drive in me and gave me that vision. What it would be like to be a Division I football player. So that was always my dream, to do that and then become an NFL player. I got to King, man, out of shape. Couldn't lift nothing, wasn't running very fast. But thankfully, they poured into me. It takes a lot of people. It takes a village. I had some strong mentors. I had a lot of great coaches, Lonnie Williams and my uncle Sean Williams, host of guys, man. And then, my peers, all my teammates. My best friend, Miles Schroeder, he ended up being one of the top recruits in the country. I wasn't very sought after. I didn't even have any stars. I wasn't ranked heading into my senior year, but because of him getting all the attention, there were scouts coming to see him. I got some of the leftovers. They're like, okay, he's good, but who's this kid? This kid? He's got some athleticism. He has some ability, but he needs to work on a few things. And the guy that recruited me at University of Illinois, Reggie Mitchell, he's the running backs coach. He told me, like, hey, we might be willing to give you a scholarship, but we got to see something from you at our one-day camp. So I went up there. I didn't have any scholarships from any schools, let alone a Division I school. Went up to the camp. They tried to kill me. They getting everything out of me. I'm going drill after drill, period after period. All eyes on me, one-on-one. They trying to see if I had what it took. And after that camp, I ended up getting a scholarship. They took a chance on me. I got a scholarship, enrolled in the University of Illinois early. I graduated high school mid-year, went down in the spring, and I needed it, man, because when I got down there, I had to acclimate. Like I said, I wasn't in the greatest shape, and partly my fault. honestly, because when I graduated in December. I got done with school, and then I stopped doing everything. Man. I said, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna do shit. They're gonna give me a shit."
He
So
said,
I'm
"I'm just
sitting
gonna
at home.
chill."
I'm sitting at home. I'm playing video games. I'm eating chips, eating candy, and I get down to the University of Illinois in January, and it was like they took the training wheels off. It was nonstop, full speed, and I couldn't make it through a workout. So everybody looking at me crazy. They're like, "Man, we wasted scholarship on this kid. What are you doing?" And I can remember all I kept saying was, "Wait until we put the pads on." So we get into spring ball, finally put the pads on, and I put my knee braces on the wrong way because I never wore them before. So I go out there the first day. I'm struggling, man. I'm getting my ass whooped. And the offensive line coach pulled me into the office. He's like, "Look, man, like I'm part of the main reason why you're here." He's like, "I stood on this table for you. I saw something in you that day in camp. He's like, don't let us down, basically." And I'm like, damn, I'm fucking up. So I really looked at myself in the mirror. I called my mom that same night. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm really built for this. Like everybody, I don't care who it is, anybody who's done anything in sports, they can all tell you the same thing. They have a crossroads like this. And I remember telling them, I don't know if I can do it. And she said, "What you gonna do? You gonna come back here?" I grew up on the east side of Chicago. So she's like, "You gonna come back home?" And I was like, "Nah." She's like, "Well, I'll tell you this, it's only gonna get easier from here." From that moment, I just decided to, really pour everything into the craft and do everything to be the best version of myself. And I went on into the summer camp, was on third on the depth chart, had a ton of injuries, ended up getting thrust into the starting lineup as a true freshman. And my first game, I was playing a guy named Aaron Maben. I think Aaron Maben ended up being a top 10 pick. Heading into our matchup against Penn State, he had, I don't know, he was leading the country in sacks. He had almost double-digit sacks in 3 games. And I'm watching ESPN the night before, and they're not really talking about the game. They're just talking about our matchup. They're like, he's going to kill this kid. True freshman playing in Penn State, a wideout against Aaron Maben, who's leading the country in sacks. He has no chance. And I went into the game, and I had a pretty good game. And the entire time, I just kept thinking back on those moments leading up to it. Like, I'm doing everything I need to do. I've gotten to this position, and I just got to capitalize. And from that moment, they gave me the confidence, and I started every game my entire career. I think I still have the most consecutive starts in University of Illinois history. And it was pretty cool to see all that work, pay off.
Yeah, definitely, bro. And it definitely paid off. You were drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. And one thing we wanted to ask you, Andy Reid, his legacy has definitely evolved over the last few years. What was it like playing for Andy? And at the end of the day, what do you think his legacy should be?
It was dope playing for him. Andy is one of the greatest football minds offensively that the game has ever had. And I think legacy-wise, we have to have the conversation, right? I think a lot of people give Bill Belichick that title as greatest coach of all time. But we only have one sample with him. We have him and Tom Brady and the success that they had. When I look at Andy Reid, he's had a host of quarterbacks that he's played with, and he's had great success with. He's made the playoffs damn near every year that he's been a head coach. He's done it with Donovan McNabb. He's done it with Alex Smith. He's done it with Patrick Mahomes. He's done it with, what's the guy named? Cobb. He did it with Cobb. He did it with
what was his name?
I mean, he's done it with so many quarterbacks, and now he's getting that success because he has an all-time great in Patrick Mahomes, and he's winning Super Bowls and he's winning AFC titles. I think he's arguably the greatest coach of all time, but you still got to go with Bill from the stats. But I think Andy has done it with just about all type of quarterbacks. I mean, Michael Vick even had success with him, so he's done it with a variation of quarterbacks, and that's what makes him my GOAT.
If you look at the guys you have over there in Kansas City, of course, it's the dynamic duo. You bring up Andy Reid. Andy Reid had Tom Brady. Andy Reid, this new era that he's been in, he's had Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, who is on the verge of trying to get his 3rd Super Bowl championship going on right now. From the year that you played with Pat, was there anything that you saw in him that kind of translates the way that he's been playing right now?
Oh yeah, Pat the dog, bro. Like he really a dog. So when I left Kansas City for 2 seasons and went to Houston, and I really thought about retiring going into my 7th year. And I got a call from Coach Reed. And he's like, look, man, I know you're thinking about retiring, but, we need a veteran guy, in the offensive line room. What do you think? So I thought about it. But while thinking about it, I called a few guys that were still in Kansas City that I knew. And they're like, look, dude, this dude, Patrick, is the truth. He really might be the one. And that's really what convinced me to come back. And when I got there, I kind of saw glimpses of it in training camp. But when we played Oakland, I think it was like week 3 or something like that. A safety came on a blitz and hit him late. And Pat started talking shit to him. I never heard a quarterback talk shit like that. And he was like, don't fucking hit me late again. Safety, they going back and forth. I won't get into the conversation. But Pat basically said, I'm going to go over the top on your bitch ass. I was like, okay. Literally, like the next series, he threw a 70-yard bomb on Mecole Hardman over that safety. And he's like, I told you. And I was like, yeah, he's different. He's different. He's been like that. And sometimes as an offensive lineman, you like to see that as long as he's not talking to your guy, because you don't got to block him, bro. Chill out. But he's highly competitive. Definitely an all-time great, and you see it, man. He goes out there and he puts it out on the line, and he's winning. He's getting a lot of hate now, but that comes with winning.
It comes with winning. And before Dante gets this next question, I want to say this thing about Pat too. I'm glad you brought up the intensity he has, because I didn't know he was like that till I watched the quarterback series on Netflix, and then and it showed him like talking. I think he was talking shit to Max Crosby, and I was like, oh, okay, so he's got a little, little Jordan in him, little Kobe in him. That was kind of thing I saw right there, and he carries himself as such a nice guy. It's dope to see that part of it too, and it definitely goes with the greats.
Definitely, man. That nice guy mantra is just for the cameras, man. He's definitely got that. He's got that dog in him, and all the greats do, man.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Now, as like you said, 9 years in the league, so you're somebody who's been in that offensive line room, in those offensive meetings, actually breaking down film. How do you feel about when you get online and you see these new age all 22 guys who want to tell you, oh, well, he was open here, or this is where the play messed up, when they really haven't been in that room and know what it's like to know how the entire, offense is set up?
Yeah, I think it's kind of ruined the game, man. All these, Tuesday morning coaches, that's what I call them, or Monday morning coaches, depending on when the game is. They all see it the way they see it, but they really don't understand schematically what an offense might be doing, or defensively what someone might be doing. They don't know every single player's responsibility. They just see it and they make a decision. I mean, that's the same argument for PFF. I mean, these guys give some players terrible grades, but internally, I mean, I know there's some times PFF-wise where I'll get a horrible grade, but then you look at the grade I get from my offensive line coach, it's the total opposite. So, and vice versa, I might have a good PFF grade and I fucking sucked ass when I go into the meeting room. They're like, "No, you suck, bro." Like, you fucking suck. But
PFF said.
but coach, PFF gave me a 90, bro. I don't care what you said. But I think that all 22 stuff, it kind of, I guess you can give them an opportunity. It's more stuff that the NFL can sell to the consumer from a business standpoint. But I mean, most of the time, people don't know what they're talking about. They get on Twitter, start talking crazy to these players, and in reality, they don't know everything.
Well, here's a question I got about, when we talk about, I feel like just everything with, how some sports is carried by the fans. I think now that everybody thinks that, it's so easy to do, you know what I'm saying, as far as a fan. And honestly, as a fan too, I felt the same way too until I started actually covering teams and seeing the hard work that you guys put in. It's like, oh, okay, it's a different level. Now, of course, the average fan isn't going to see that, but it's something with me where I'm like, okay, well, this guy does this, that, and the third. When you're actually at a practice facility, you see the whole day thing that you guys do. And it's really a whole little, it's more than just playing on Sundays, and the fan only sees the Sunday part. So here's the question I have for you. What made you retire early and go into, full-time entrepreneurship? Did you get tired of the grind of it? Well, what exactly was the reason that you went to the next phase?
I think it was a combination of stuff. So coming off my stint in Houston, I dealt with a lot of concussions. So I had in the calendar year, but it was over 2 seasons, but over the course of a full year, I had 4 concussions. So I spent a lot of time in Pittsburgh with a concussion specialist named Mickey Collins, just trying to get over that, making sure that I was going to have a productive life after football. And I wasn't sure about that. But after having those conversations, getting cleared and talking to them, they gave me the confidence. They said, hey, look, it's safe for you to play. So if you want to play, then I would do it. And the worst thing that you can do is regret retiring early. So I gave myself the opportunity to go back with the thought of, possibly winning a Super Bowl. And that's what really drove me to get back. But I still, man, like mentally, you always think, especially when dealing with concussions, you're going to get another one. And I felt like that was always in the back of my mind, and I wasn't playing the same. I just was more tentative. I was more careful. And football is a violent sport. If you're out there thinking about getting hurt, you probably shouldn't be out there. So ultimately, I just decided, hey, this might be it for me. I'm thinking about these concussions too much. I've dealt with it. It's time for me to get on to the next chapter, which is entrepreneurship. And I'm happy I did, because it was really perfect timing, just the way the market set itself up with cookies and everything, and me being able to do this and support my wife the way she supported me. So I'm just thankful that, I listened to, that internal voice, which was God, and made that decision.
Can you tell us like a little bit more about Cookie Society and what you guys do with that, and how the idea for it all started, pretty much?
Yeah. So me and my wife, we travel every off season, and when we travel with foodies, obviously I'm an offensive lineman. I like to eat. So when we go places, we try different things. We were in New York in 2017. This place called Levain Bakery. It's a famous bakery in New York. They have a ton of locations. They have them in Chicago now, just all over. But we stood in line for damn near an hour. And when we got to the front, it was just cookies. And I was like, damn, you made me wait for an hour just for cookies. And I was kind of pissed about it. But we got them. We went across the street to Central Park, sat down. I ate one. It really was one of the best things I've ever had dessert-wise, not just cookie. And I looked at my wife, and I was just messing with her, like, you can't make nothing like this for me, knowing she was going to go home and try to recreate it. So when we got back to Texas, she just started playing around in the kitchen. She's a great cook. She can bake, but she never really made cookies up until that point. So she was really trying to figure out how to make a Levain cookie. Couldn't figure it out. And she's like, you know what, I'm going to make my cookie. So she started researching. She came up with the recipe that we sell today. I tasted it. I was like, this is crazy. Started giving them to teammates. Anybody we can give cookies to, they all said the same thing, the best cookie we ever had. One of my teammates, one Christmas, asked to buy them. And that's when the idea came about, like, maybe we should think about turning it into a business. 2018, we started to do farmers markets, pop-ups, sell them online. And we just kept getting the same feedback. These are amazing, best cookie ever had. 2020, we opened our first brick and mortar here in Dallas and Frisco, Texas. And we're up to 3 stores now. And it's been amazing to see the growth. And we ship nationwide too.
Ship nationwide. Before I know, Dante, I know you got we're gonna get into the Super Bowl in just a minute, but this is real interesting to me, because I'm an entrepreneur too, and this is a thing that I always have quite. I think about entrepreneurship that I like. I think people think it's so glamorous, and they don't see like the pitfalls that you go through. Like it's so much work. Like I always have this joke. Like I'll be telling people, like, man, I question jumping off the Staples Center multiple times a week, just because like so much stuff that you gotta like go through. So like, what was some of the pitfalls that you kind of dealt with, like, since being an entrepreneur, that you didn't like full time? Because I'm with you too. I did the same thing in high school. I used to do bootleg and cure. So like I did the same thing you did. What was like something that you didn't expect, I guess, from starting this new company?
I think the biggest thing is distinguishing the difference between giving yourself another job and actually running a business, right? So when we first started, we was doing it at home. It was really just a hobby. It was me and my wife. We have some family members help here and there. But we really weren't running a business. She had a good product, but that wasn't a business. And we didn't know that at the time. So we jumped into business not really knowing what it took. But you're either going to learn fast or you're going to drown. It's like getting in the ocean. You can't swim. Eventually, if you don't got nothing to hold on to, you're going to sink. So we got into it. And, fortunately, we, based on our backgrounds, us both being former athletes, us being used to doing hard shit, we were able to figure it out. But man, it's not easy at all. One of the biggest things is just the leadership of it. Being able to lead a group of people in the same direction to have the common goal with your business. And we have to get everyone on the same accord. I have to establish SOPs, standards of operation. We had to, KPIs, all this corporate stuff we didn't know about in this foundation to a business that we didn't have when we first got into it. HR, the importance of that,
Right.
everything. One of the biggest mistakes we ever made was when we first opened, we had unbranded packaging. And then we finally got enough money to invest in brand new packaging. And we got to print it. And we didn't know how to read CAD files. So we're looking at the files. And when you're looking at a mock-up of something, it's like looking in the mirror. If you look at it and look straight, it's not. It has to be reversed. So we're looking at the box as if it was right, but we didn't read it right. So we got 75,000 boxes printed backwards.
Damn.
So I mean that's a big hit. So we had to take all of those boxes and just scrap them. And ultimately, we tried to fight with the graphic designer, but the graphic designer is like, nah, well, you should have read it right. And then the manufacturing company that boxed the printer is like, well, that's not our fault. So we kind of stuck in the middle of no man's land with this big ass bill that we got to pay, and we paid it. But that's just one of those things of not knowing and learning from a very expensive mistake. But that's entrepreneurship. You're going to constantly make mistakes. It's just making those mistakes, learning from them, and not making them again.
100%.
Yeah, definitely, bro. But like we said, it's Super Bowl week. I woke up a little excited today. We almost there, almost game time. But the Kansas City Chiefs, it's the opportunity to win their third Super Bowl. If they do accomplish this, get this victory, we've talked about the greatness of Pat and where he is as a GOAT. But the Chiefs as a whole, if they win this third Super Bowl, bro, do you think this is a dynasty?
Without a doubt. I mean, you got to look at it in this short period of time. In 6 seasons since Pat has been a starter, he's had 6 AFC title appearances. He's won 4 of them. This will be his 4th Super Bowl appearance. If he wins this, he's won 3 or 4 Super Bowls in a 6-year period. If you can stack that up against any dynasty in the NFL, and it fits the criteria, I mean, there's no question about it. I think the fashion in which they've done it, the dominance, and they've done it with pretty much different teams every single time. If you go look at those rosters, there's not a lot of carryover. There's been a lot of turnover, but the cornerstones have been there. Patrick, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, but they've done an excellent job of drafting and free agency, bringing in new faces, and still doing it year in and year out.
And the thing too, if you look at it, like one thing I love about the Super Bowl is all the storylines. You have the dynasty storyline for the Chiefs, and you also got the revenge factor for the San Francisco 49ers. It's something they've had on their mind for the last 4 years. Now, like you said, the same thing with the Chiefs. It's not the exact same team. Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't there, and I'll argue that defense is probably a little better than the defense they've seen right now. And this team definitely, I believe, or at least offensively, isn't as good as the first Kansas City Chiefs team that won in 2019. But the defense, much better than it is. How do you see this game going? Who would you favorite, and what is your score for the Sunday's game?
It's going to be an excellent game. I think on paper, San Francisco is definitely the better team. They have more weapons offensively. Defensively, I think their only weakness is their secondary, which isn't good when you're going against Patrick Mahomes. And then when you look at them statistically, I don't know the exact stats, but I was reading something about San Francisco's defense. They rank pretty high when you look at them statistically, but when you factor in them going against top 10 scoring offenses, they suck. I think, and Kansas City hasn't been that all year. I mean, they've had a good run in the postseason, but I feel like getting in the Super Bowl and Patrick and them having Andy Reid is great off of bye weeks. I know technically this isn't considered a bye week, but this is a full 2 weeks to prepare for an opponent. I think Shanahan's a great offensive mind. I think they have a good defensive coordinator over there, but I always will put my money on Andy Reid and that staff. Given the extra time to prepare, they're going to figure something out and they're going to come out on top. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say it's going to have to be like 24-17 or something like that. It's not going to be high scoring. I just think it's going to be a good defensive game where whoever has the ball last, they're going to figure out how to win.
Definitely. I'm definitely thinking gonna be a close game too. This is where I can see either team winning in different ways. They win too. Last question for you, man. If we get you out of here, man, you are from Chicago, so of course we got to get your opinion on the hottest debate in Chicago. A debate that's actually, as a Bears fan, has been driving me up a fucking wall, to be completely honest with you. And for the Justin Fields and Caleb Williams debate, in your opinion, what me and Dante had this debate before you got on too. What do you think? About Justin's time in Chicago, do you think that if he goes to another team that he can be this superstar that a lot of Bears fans think he can be, or do you think it's just something where this just might be who he is? And if you were Ryan Poles, which way would you go in this situation?
I think it's definitely not who he is. I think Justin is a good quarterback. I think when you look at the film, he does a lot of good things. He is indecisive at times. But a lot of that indecisive decision making comes from game planning and coaching. There's only so much you can do when you have the pressure of not only a city on you, but a defense. Like, their offensive line isn't the greatest. He doesn't have a ton of weapons. I think DJ Moore had a good year, but outside of that, there wasn't consistency there. I do think they should move on from him just for the sake of him. I think he deserves more. I think he deserves a better situation. They need to foster him a little bit more, give him a situation where they can build something around him. I think they've been trying to force him to do something that he's not. And that's not fair to him. But ultimately, looking at the writing on the wall, I think they're going to keep him, because if they weren't going to keep him, they would have moved on from everyone. I think they would have did a clean slate. They would have cleaned house. Got a new coach, new offensive coordinator, then they would have brought in a new quarterback. But I think them keeping everything the same, they're trying to do that for Justin's sake, but I don't think it's going to help him because, it's broken.
Yeah, that's a good point right there, man. This is definitely something that, is going to be the hot topic for these next couple of weeks in the NFL, man. Jeff, thank you for joining us, man. It definitely was a pleasure to talk to you, man. Let everybody know where they can get in tune with you and where they can get in tune with the Cookie Society.
Yeah, man, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at JeffAllen71. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Cookie Society. You can visit us online at cookiesociety.com. Yeah, man, get some cookies.
Definitely, brother. Definitely good to talk to you, man. You enjoy the rest of your day, man.
Appreciate y'all, fellas. Y'all have a good one.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you, bro.
We are going to get into our Super Bowl topics, man. Super Bowl Sunday is on the horizon here. We're going to get into our top 5 Super Bowl storylines that I want to go over, man. We've also got Pavi will be joining within the next 30 minutes, man. Definitely, once again, shout out to Jeff Allen for joining us, man. Definitely good insight on, everything going on with him. And I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to what Bears fans have to say about what he had to say about, because I will be clipping that. As soon as this goes over. In the words of Bang, content is king, niggas. So we'll be getting that. But yeah, let's just get right into it, man. The Super Bowl week is, for me, it's always a bittersweet week. And I say bittersweet because the Super Bowl is an American holiday. Everybody has a good time. I'm looking forward to eating food that's going to cut my life by 20 years and drinking a lot of alcohol on Sunday. I'm thoroughly looking forward to that. But I'm also depressed because I'm going to have to watch the NBA for the rest of the next couple months. You know what's funny about when we talk about the NBA on here? We are on a predominantly NBA YouTube channel, and we'd be like, fuck the NBA.
Yeah, like it's tough, bro. Like I'm about to add the because I'll usually wait till the end of the season anyway, because that's when the basketball gets serious. And I'm like, damn, I'm really about to spend $50 on this league pass.
50? You better do the monthly.
No, I mean, how many months left in the season?
We got all of February.
It's at least 3, right?
Yeah, well, it's about 2.5. Like the playoffs.
Yes, I might.
Mid-April.
Yes, I might as well spend the 50.
Or it's $15 a month. That's $30. Nigga, you save $20 by doing that shit. I know you ain't finna watch no multiple devices. You barely watching one game.
No. We're gonna see. We gonna see.
I forced myself to start watching games like the last couple weeks, and now I have a rule to justify.
No, me too.
the $15 I'm spending that you watch one game a day, nigga. That's pretty much what I force myself to do.
But what I do when I usually get the pass, I watch the condensed games too. Like, that helps me actually stay caught up. So like I'll go back and watch the same with the MLB pass. I'll go back and watch games from yesterday, just watch the condensed game about 10 minutes, get a vibe for everything that went down. So,
yeah, I mean, I think we are also making I'm Not Gonna Hold You history. This is the first time there's only been 2 of us on this show.
Definitely kicking it like Ball Don't Lie, my nigga.
This is
about basketball.
This is an old school Ball Don't Lie episode, man. Bang had some stuff to do, so we went a little bit earlier today. He will be in the local hour. Mikey will be in the local hour. Of course, me and Dante will be in the local. That's when we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. So you might want to subscribe to the Patreon right now. Patreon.com/Barbershop Network. If you want to hear about everything we're going to talk about today. And as you can see on the ticker, we're going to be, talking about basically, Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury is the new offensive coordinator in Washington. Does that have anything to do with maybe some smoke about trying to get Caleb to DC? We also going to be talking about, Justin Fields. Since Luke Getsy has got this new job, he's the new offensive coordinator for Las Vegas Raiders. We've been starting to hear there's a lot of people outside of Chicago who think that Justin is more to blame for the Chicago Bears failures than Luke Getsy was. And they were also, Jalen Johnson had a great Pro Bowl. I didn't watch Pro Bowl, but only saw some clips. He looked like he played well. He actually had the game-winning tip on that. And there's been some back and forth in the media. Are we worried about, Jalen Johnson not getting his bread? So we're going to be talking about all of that in the local hour, man. Of course, Pappy will be joining us in about 20 minutes for Weekend in the Association. But let's get to these top 5 Super Bowl weekend storylines, man. The first one I want to talk about has nothing to do with basketball, but it's Super Bowl week. Football, but it's Super Bowl weekend. We got to get into it. Patrick Mahomes Sr. was arrested for drunk driving in Texas. This, to me, the only reason I even consider this a storyline is because it's the type of stuff they're going to be talking about in media. You know what I'm saying? When you lead up to a game like this, I think that, first of all, I'm glad that he wasn't hurt. I'm glad that he didn't hurt anybody. Drunk driving is not something you want to do. Paying for, what's called a DUI is very expensive. You know what I'm saying? DUI, Uber is way cheaper than having to pay for a DUI or anything else besides that actually losing your life. But this, to me, is going to be a situation because, somebody's probably going to ask Pat about this week in the many media circles that he's going to be in Vegas. And also something where it's like, there's always like one distraction, I feel like once a year for whatever team is coming in. And this is like the first distraction. Of course, we all know the Taylor Swift distraction too. But what you kind of think about this? This is something that TMZ broke late the other night.
Oh, this is kind of serious when you think about what happened in the Super Bowl with Andy Reid's son, where he killed someone driving under the influence. So this is definitely something this team has been through before. And with Mr. Mahomes, I believe this is his third DUI, which,
damn.
At this point, you should have a driver at this point. Like,
at this point,
you rich, your son's wealthy. I don't know why he doesn't have a driver, or like you said, at least have Uber Black or something, bro. But it's one of those things. Every Super Bowl has a storyline. Remember back in the day when we were shorties, Buddy from the Hawks got caught buying a prostitute. Buddy from the Falcons.
We did not expect this brother
to
show up today.
Early.
we literally just said, oh yeah, Bang has some shit to do. He's not coming on today. And here's Bang.
Unmute yourself.
And he's on mute. And he's mute. And is he coming on?
My bad, man. My bad. I've been in meetings and shit. I just got my last meeting. I was thirsty and that thing, and I had to get on here. And yeah, that was Eddie Robinson.
Yeah.
That was Eddie Robinson. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was
Eddie
like,
Robinson got the prostitute.
Yeah, I was like,
it's always something every first week. It's damn near every Monday. There's a breaking story about somebody fucking up before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, if you're on your third DUI, though, you definitely need to have a driver. Like, that's something your son is fucking wealthy. Like, he can, like, get Pops a driver. Like, I really want to know what that conversation went like. But I just, I don't want to spend too much time on it. It was just something I was like, oh, Super Bowl week is really here. We got our first off-the-field incident thing. Forgot about the Andy Reid thing that happened. Was that was on the Eagles Super Bowl, right? When he went to Super Bowl with the Eagles? Or was that during his first Super Bowl Kansas City?
That was his second Super Bowl with Kansas City, I want to say. I want to say that was when they
Okay,
played
all right, yeah.
Diego.
Oh, yeah. That was last year. Then that was last year. Remember his second Super
We
Bowl,
got
they lost to the
smartphones here.
Bucks. Yeah, this
We
was
look
true.
it
We
up.
do
I'll
have
tell you.
smartphones. Like I think it was. I feel like it was one, and there was something else too. It's like something's always got to do with a family member every year that there's a Super Bowl. Somebody family member tweaking. You know what I'm saying? And that one was where it was this. I was sworn that was like when he was with Philadelphia, but I might be wrong. We gonna wait to see down. But Bang, what's your take on that? You the one who sent the story to the group chat.
2021.
Oh, okay. That was the year they lost to the Buccaneers.
You talking about the Pat Mahomes, Pat Daddy?
Yeah, Pat
No.
Daddy. Yeah.
Oh man,
No.
Pat Jr. know what his daddy do. You know what I'm saying? It's his second, his third DUI. So I don't necessarily think this is gonna be a distraction because you kind of know how your family is. And I think this is something that he's probably dealt with and known. And I got a feeling like Pat know how to decompartmentalize shit. So I don't think this is going to be too much of anything from his side of it. He gonna come in with a business as usual mind state standpoint. He got the right team behind him. So no, I think Pat gonna be okay. And he gonna put his daddy in rehab.
That's gonna be the Adam Schefter alert after they won the championship. Fresh off a championship.
If he ain't there already.
It's in Terry. Yeah, that's the question. Will he be at the Super Bowl? That's a good question.
Wait, is he out?
I'm guessing. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know. That I don't know. I would guess he is. I would guess that was a couple days ago, so I'm guessing that Pat got him up out of there. But that's a good question. I have no idea. Let's talk about the Chiefs. Something we just talked about with Jeff Allen just a minute ago. The Chiefs on the verge of a dynasty. This is something we talked about on the first episode of the new edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You when we did back in September, and everybody was saying their dynasty. And I think we all, for the most part, was like, nah, they still got to win at least one more. With everything going on this year and everything, coming over, does this, in your opinion, Bang, like if they win this, is this for sure dynasty, or do you need to see any more to, really confirm that this is the first football dynasty we've seen since the Patriots? Go ahead, boss. I think you're on mute. Did you hear me?
Oh no, man, my wife came in. I heard dynasty, so I think I got the answer right. And basically, you asked me if this would be a dynasty if they win.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was clearly on the it's a dynasty if you win back-to-back stuff, and I think I said that last week. But I kind of started to change my thinking a little bit because the fact that they've went to the Super Bowl so many times in so many seasons. I think it is a dynasty. Is it one of the top ones, like how Deion Sanders, say that, that Hall of Famers need to be in certain rooms? Like, is this 49ers in the 80s? Is this the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s? Is this the Dallas Cowboys? No, it ain't that. It can be that if they win, though. Like, if they win this one, I think you can put it up there with those. It's not the New England Patriots by no stretch of the imagination, because that's over a course of damn near 20 years. But I do believe if Pat and them win this Super Bowl, that you should be able to talk about the Chiefs in the same language that you talk about the 80s 49ers, the 90s Dallas Cowboys, and even the 70s Pittsburgh Steelers, because what is it, 4 in the last 5 years?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that.
No.
In this era of football, you're not supposed to have this level of success. They changed the rules for you not to have this level of success, and they still got it. They win this, you move them up. They just not New England, though.
I'll say this, man. I got a rule for dynasties in every sport. You got to have at least a repeat. That's why I don't think it's because the actual word that you gotta defend it. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing is where I don't ever Spencer Spurs and the dynasty. They were a really good team, had a standard of excellence for a long time. There was no repeat. And you can't, if you didn't sustain your greatness for back-to-back years, I can't call you a dynasty because you didn't sustain it back-to-back seasons. During the time that the Spurs won, the Lakers would win, the Heat would win, Dallas would win. There was always somebody in between. Now, obviously, you don't have to three-peat. It's just some shit that's just not gonna happen. So, like, if you three-peat, and it's kind of like what Dion said, you in the upper room of dynasties. You know what I'm saying? With the NBA, you only got Russell Celtics, Michael's Bulls, and Kobe and Shaq's Lakers who are three-peated. But if you get a repeat, that's what makes you a dynasty to me. If the Spurs would have won 2004 or 2006, they're a dynasty. That's the reason. I know people debate that all the time, but they won 5. Yeah, they won 5. That's great. 5 over a 14-year period, and they never repeated. I don't think there was actual standard of, okay, we won, but we couldn't defend it. You're not a dynasty if you can't defend the title. So, yeah, they'll be a really good team. They'll be dynastic, I guess you want to call it. But to be a dynasty, you got to defend the belt, because defending the belt is harder than winning the belt. And so if the Chiefs get it done this year, there's no talking. If they lose, then it's like, okay, they were a real good team. I just don't think you can use the word dynasty with that one. Dante, what do you feel about the dynasty word? Well, not just with the Chiefs, but just in general.
Yeah, I mean, a back-to-back title is usually, needs to be in there. But if you have a sustained run of dominance like they have, he said 6 straight AFC championships, potentially 3 Super Bowls. I think you do. I think you have to include that in the dynasty family, like you said. I think it's still a long way to go to catch the Patriots, but I'm not gonna lie. Until I see Pat go through some sustained, real L's, the chances of him catching him are, they're there, especially if he gets 3 right now. And you got to think one thing about Pat that, he hasn't had that Brady had eventually was the serious injury with the ACL tear, and Brady missed the full season. Pat has stayed relatively healthy. He's had his nicks here and there, but for the most part, he's been on the field. So I think if he can continue to stay healthy, I think that team will continue to build around him. And so as long as you got Pat and Andy back there, bro, I think it's there. And if they win it this year, the dynasty, there's no question of whether a dynasty. They're absolutely a dynasty.
And I think also too, it really depends on how long Andy really wants to coach, because he's coming into a situation where he is, he's older now. I think it's different with Belichick, because Belichick's wasn't his first full time. He was coaching of the Browns. His first actual opportunity was with New England. So the success came right away. This is, Andy Reid's second, run. And I think too, I think if there's anybody who has a chance to catch Brady, it would be Pat. And one thing that Pat had that Brady did is he started off different. He won MVPs early. But one thing that Brady will always have in his back pocket that Pat will never one up on is he's beat him twice in the playoffs. And that's something that I feel like even at the end of the day, if they stack them up, let's just say that Pat gets 5, because I think 7 is just asinine. It's just never gonna fucking happen again. 7, that's some shit that's just not gonna fucking happen. Even sometimes I'm like, damn, this nigga Brady really got 7 rings. I don't see anybody. There's 2 people in the history of the sport who have 7. It's Tom Brady and my man Charles Haley. And they're the only dudes who got 7 Super Bowl rings. So let's just say Pat gets 5, right? I think that's in the realm of possibility. Put all the rings, accolades on the table, Brady can still be like, yeah, nigga, I beat you twice. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something he will always have in his back pocket, and that was something that would be good for debates, because even with the LeBron Jordan debate, they never faced each other. So we can always view hypotheticals. Oh, well, if LeBron would have played in the 90s, Jordan would have beat him. Oh, if Jordan would have played in 2000s, they handle 3-pointers, they had better teams, they'd have got smoked by, some of these Heat teams. We've seen these two go at it twice in the AFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl. So I do feel like that's something that I know Pat is a competitor, and just like Jeff Allen explained, I know that's something that's got to eat him up inside. And I know that's something that Brady you run it up all you want, but I still got you twice.
Also, the other part about it too is, and I agree with you on that. I agree with you so much so is that Brady beat him and Brady wasn't in his prime.
Yeah.
That's the other part about it too. Old Brady beat you. This wasn't Brady when Brady was 28, 29, 30, 31, 35.
2007 Brady.
Old Brady beat you. So that's why Brady will never lose that to me. Pat could be the most talented quarterback all day long. But as far as the greatest, he's not going to get more rings than him. I doubt that very strongly. And the fact that Old me beat you, OG beat you, Nah.
But OGU beat Young Me. We still haven't seen Final Form Pat. Like I understand
Oh.
everything we've seen is amazing. So like that's my thinking. That's why I think we said this a couple weeks ago. But like if Pat get 5 rings, got 5 MVPs, it's a conversation whether he
Oh,
lost to
it's a
Brady or not.
I'm not saying it's
Whether he
not a
lost to him or not.
conversation. I'm
I'm
it's
saying
a
I'm
conversation.
putting him over the nigga. Like, and I love Tom Brady. But if you get 5 MVPs, 5 Super Bowls with
I
the
still
amount of
think that's
dominance
I
he
think that's
has,
I still think that's
it's crazy.
asinine. This is
It's
what
crazy to think
it's
about.
crazy because Brady did this for 2 whole ass decades. And here's another one. He did it with another team. Remember, everybody said also, can Brady do it without Belichick? He did it without Belichick so good to the point that we're asking, was Belichick really that damn good? Like, it's gotten to that point, unfortunately.
Right.
And I think anybody with actual football mind ain't going to, discredit, Bill Belichick. But it's also like, am I one of them people who think that Pat's going to be different on another team without Andy Reid? No. But Andy Reid helps a lot. I forgot who said this. Somebody said that, there was like the difference between Peyton Manning and not Tom Brady, Peyton Manning and Patrick Mahomes. They're like Patrick Mahomes as Andy Reid, Peyton Manning is Andy Reid. It's talking about like his football mind that he has. But I'm not saying that I got him over Peyton already. I just started like Peyton Manning. He retired. Like it's a people forget because we like Peyton. I like Peyton. Peyton went live like that in the playoffs. I will go to my grave saying the MVP should have went to Jones to die in 2007, 2006. Straight up. But you're right, Don. It's gonna be a conversation. I'm not saying it's not a conversation, but if you're like a Brady fan or if you're Tom Brady, you'll always have that in your back pocket. Like, yeah, you beat the nigga though. Which is something that LeBron or Jordan fans don't have. But it's definitely gonna be a debate, and it's gonna get even bigger if they win this Sunday. Now, let's go to the Niners side of things, man. The 49ers got revenge on their mind 4 years ago. You know what I think about when I think about the year 2020? Now, I don't know about y'all, brothers, but the first 2 months outside of, obviously Kobe dying, it was a fun 2 months. Like, I feel like, nigga, this shit gonna be lit. I don't know about y'all, but just had a good vibe. I remember that Super Bowl party we had that year. That Super Bowl party, shout my man, TPJ, Hoops and Brews, HB Media. He had a Super Bowl party at his crib downtown LA. It was one of the most fun Super Bowl parties I've ever been to. I didn't even know who the fuck won the game until like the end. That's how much fun we had. So I'm not gonna lie to you, act like I remember all that game because I don't. I just remember at the end, like, yo, Jimmy Garoppolo threw that like 10 yards too far. Now, this is a different team. And not to say that, that the Chiefs won't be prepared, because we all know Andy Reid's prepared, and Jeff Allen said it too, that he's great off bye weeks. But what do you think about, I'm going to go to Dante first. Dante, what do you think this, is on the 49ers' mind as far as trying to get revenge against this team? Something that Kyle Shanahan said they've been thinking about for years.
I think it's they need to be careful with that shit. Like the whole revenge thing. You need to be focused on winning this Super Bowl. Like, fuck who you playing. I understand that, you have lost them. You want to get back. But I think it's one of those things where the way, people have talked about Brock Purdy all season, the way they've said, well, Kyle Shanahan can't, get over the mountaintop. It's definitely going to be extremely motivating. And when I'm looking at the Niners, I think it's going to be a close game. And like, we haven't done our predictions yet, but I think there are a lot of ways the Niners could win this football game, like a lot. And they are an extremely talented ball club. We've seen them load up on talent, even though they've had to reload on the quarterback position several times. But that revenge factor, I would say be careful with it. But the way that this team had been running all season, I think they're definitely going to use it as a positive going into the Super Bowl.
Go ahead, Bang. What's your part on the revenge factor?
Man, look, they just got to worry about what got them here. Simple as that. This team struggled defensively last week against Detroit. And that's not the game that they wanted to play. They have to go into that game knowing and understand that they got to have an elite defensive effort. And the only way your ass is really gonna go out there and truly get revenge is defensively. You gotta be on point. You gotta take Pat out the game, not actually take him out the game. Like, you gotta take his play out the game. You have to expose those wide receivers for what they are. Pacheco can't do nothing. And that offensive line, who's going to be without one of the best players on that line, and they're having issues with that offensive line in general. Like, Bosa got to play like his life depends on it. Like, Chase Young cannot have the game that he had last week against the Lions. You want revenge? Steve Wilks got to look at that defense and say, hey, here's the meat. Go get it. Throw that shit and have everybody go ahead and try to snatch at it. That's the only chance they got at winning this game. Because I know, at least I'll speak for me, I don't think any of us is going to try to pick against Pat until Pat loses. Because somehow, some way, he always figures it out. Andy Reid always figure it out. They have to understand that defensively, outside of Pat Mahomes, they are way more talented than the team that they're going up against, and they have to show it. That's how you get the revenge.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. They gotta rush him, like, and of course, now not rush him strategically, because if you keep blitzing this man, and the difference in 2021 when they lost to the Buccaneers was they didn't have the best offensive line at the time. Like, Pat was getting put through motherfucking tables and shit. So this offensive line they have is much better than that, but they need to take their opportunities to beat him and get him, not beat him because you're not gonna beat him, but like to try to get him off his square. But more importantly, the offense, like you said, they're going to have to play the game of their life to win this. They cannot start the way they started these playoff games they played this year, because Pat Mahomes ain't Jordan Love. Pat Mahomes ain't Jared Goff. If you give them many opportunities like you gave them niggas, you will be going home crying. So that's something that they need to do right away. But they got to score points too. This is a great defense. And this is a physical secondary that the Chiefs have too. So that, to me, I feel like the revenge factor is a factor in it, but they can't let that be something that, you know, that's consuming them, I guess, is what I'm trying to say with that, man. Get to our last 2 points. We're going to bring in Pavi. We'll be doing weekend in the association in with 1 minute. We still got 2 more storylines go. But Pav, is it raining like hell by your crib? Because it just sounds like Thor is knocking at my fucking window right now.
It was worse like yesterday, but like, yes, it's still raining. I finally just went outside. I hadn't even looked out the window.
That's funny.
Like,
shit. I definitely
like that?
Nigga,
Yes,
it's been
it's raining
raining
like
for
that.
like 24 hours.
It's
been raining
no
for, like,
longer
20
than that. It's been raining for like
Yeah.
35 hours at this point. Like,
No, my wife would be out there this weekend. I was gonna go, but work wouldn't allow me to go, Scott. My bad. But
Yeah, yeah.
this
Yeah,
weekend
well,
would be
this
fine.
weekend
But
would be cool. This weekend would be
Okay.
fire. But nigga, today, tomorrow, and maybe a little bit. Wednesday should be cleared up. But you know how you have
I
one
don't
of
really
them
know how to
cloud
go.
bursts?
I don't
Nigga,
really
when you
wanna
heard that
go,
cloud burst,
why.
that's why when you was talking, I was looking. I was like, what the fuck is that? It was like boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but anyway, we're gonna get to these last 2 topics before we get into weekend in the association. Orlando Ortiz said it's a sunny 40-degree day. I'd rather be in 50-degree weather in Los Angeles with it raining than be in 40-degree weather in Chicago. But that's just me. Anyway, let's go to Brock Purdy. We just talked about the defense, what the defense needs to do. Can Brock Purdy smash the game manager, not even allegations, but title? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there anything that you feel he can do? Because if he wins this championship, he will be only the 3rd quarterback in San Francisco 49ers history to win one. Of course, the other 2 are legendary quarterbacks, and a one-time GOAT in Joe Montana and Steve Young. First of all, the game manager title is something where I feel it's got a negative connotation to it. And I think this is something we discussed earlier in the season, Bang, when you knocked it nail on the head with that one, with basically of how everybody perceives it like they're trash or something like that. There's nothing wrong with managing the game. Now, there's some game managers who aren't good. There's a lot of game managers who wish they could play as well as Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is not somebody who I don't even consider Brock Purdy a game manager, to be completely honest with you. I think Brock Purdy is a good quarterback who's only in his 2nd year. So I think it's kind of unfair to put the game manager title on him, but I also understand why they do that at the same time. I think there's a path here for him to do it. Now, let's be very clear. I do not see this happening on this Kansas City Chiefs defense, and especially the secondary. If he goes out there and dominates, I'm talking about 350 yards, maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns, and he wins the MVP, yes, that's the way to smash the allegations of being a game manager. So the opportunity is there. But I don't think even Kyle Shanahan's even going to allow him to even put himself in that position to do that. Kyle Shanahan, as something that Dante has said many times on him, is I think he's starting to learn from his mistakes. Even when we saw these last 2 weeks, he only had one game being down double digits in the playoffs where he won compared to these last 2. Both games he's had this year in the playoffs, he has come back and won. So I feel like he's gotten that off his off his back, off his shoulder, and that's something where he can do that this time, but you cannot go down. So I think he's going to actually lean more on Christian McCaffrey and not put Brock Purdy in the same situations that will require him to not be a game manager. Pav, what do you feel about the game manager title? And do you think there's anything Brock Purdy can do to take that off?
I mean, like you said, if he go out there and sling the pigskin around, like he go out there and, like you said, get you 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, he have a game that's comparable to Pat's or even better than Pat's, then yeah, I think the game manager title will be shredded. I'm with you. I don't necessarily think that will happen. One, I think that you would probably it would behoove you to call a good game because you don't want many 3 and outs. You want to have long drives. You don't want to just be giving the ball back to the Kansas City Chiefs offense. So I'm with you. I think that you run the football. You throw a lot of short passes, and I mean, you hope that some things that can happen, like that happened last week, happen. Like you get some big plays, some random ones, like when the guy should have caught the pick, but Brandon like caught it off man's face mask. You hope that you can get some players like that. But I mean, yeah, sure. If he goes out there and throws, I don't know, he completes 60% of his passes, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. And has a legendary game like that, sure, but I don't think that that's probably the best pathway for them winning this football game.
Bang, tell us what you feel about Brock Purdy. You're the one who started the game manager isn't a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, and I don't think he's going to be able to shake it because when I think of game changers, I think of people like Michael Vick. I think of people like Cam Newton. I think about dynamic players. That's why I said there's nothing wrong with being a game manager because what you're not going the thing about, let me just put it in this perspective. Because when people have this conversation, like you said, it just seems like it's a negative connotation. But don't we realize that game managers are the people that are probably not going to let the game get away from them? Like Joe Montana, for an example, is probably somebody that you could consider the greatest game manager. Yeah, he is slinging and everything, but show me a game where Joe Montana let the game get away from him. Like, go look at every Super Bowl that Joe Montana has been in. He ain't throw an interception. He managed the game perfectly. But game changers, sometimes, wow, speaking of football, that's messed up. Speaking of game changers, though, sometimes game changers be in situations where they let the game get away from them because they do too much. They gotta make the play to save the game. They gotta try to thread it in between 3 people. They gotta try to get that scramble for the first down and all of that stuff. Those are game changers because all it takes is one play for them to get back into the game. Brock Purdy, while he's had some comebacks, he's going to more than likely be in a position to where the game is not going to get out so much in front of him. He's going to play a damn near perfect game on most occasions. That's why he is a game manager. He's probably not going to do some extra shit, some OC shit to try to change a game. He's going to stay within it and eventually get back to where he's going to get. With that being said, I don't think that Brock Purdy is going to do anything that is going to have to be so dynamic that they are going to have to use, a whole bunch of things to get back in the game. Because I think that they are going to be in it until the end. And I don't think that Brock Purdy is going to be the reason why they lose the game. And let's just say that I don't necessarily think that he's going to be the main reason why they win the game.
Dante, what's your thoughts on Brock heading into the Super Bowl?
I'm with everybody else. Like, I mean, I think he has to light it up. I think if he wins, a little bit of the conversation changes. But if he wins and it's the same, you know, a couple dropped interceptions here and there, some plays he missed, and you know, he makes a play at the end, you're still gonna have people, you know, with their questions. So I think in terms of actually shaking that label, he has to dominate. He has to really, you know, light it up. Jeff talked about how, you know, the Chiefs have struggled against dynamic offenses. So if they're able to get Debo in space, get CMC in space, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, you know, they could put some points on the board. So even though we've all agreed so far that, you know, it's probably not going to be a high scoring game, but that is the only way he shakes those allegations is he has to really, really go crazy out there. And I don't see that happening. So, I mean, I think it's possible, but do we see it? I don't think so.
Okay, let me ask this question before you go, Scott. Let me ask this question. I'm just looking at San Francisco 49ers quarterbacks, just them specifically. Like I said, Joe Montana ain't never thrown no interception in the Super Bowl game. Steve Young played in the Super Bowl. He threw 6 touchdowns. I guess the question is, what type of game does Brock Purdy need to have in order to, quote unquote, shed that title? Because he can play a very efficient game, give you 2 touchdowns, 250 yards, have a perfect passer rating, and win MVP. Like, I don't think winning MVP should be the end-all be-all here, because he could play a very efficient game and still win it. But does he need to have a Steve Young monkey off the back 6 touchdowns versus the San Diego Chargers type of game? Does he have to have a type of game that Joe Montana had? Just go look it up, y'all. I know this is old Bang talking, but does he have to have a Joe Montana game like Joe Montana had against the Denver Broncos when they won the Super Bowl? Like, what type of game does he need to have in order to shed that title?
He got to have at least 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns slinging, like 350 yards passing. He got to be the reason that they won, not part of it, which he's. That's exactly. I don't think it's going to happen either. Not because he's not capable of it. It's because I don't think that Kyle Shanahan's going to even put him in that position to be there. Because I believe if he has a game like that, them niggas are going to lose, because that means they stop giving the ball to Christian McCaffrey.
You just said the perfect line of why he is a game manager. Kyle Shanahan ain't going to put him in that position. Simple as that, y'all. It's okay. They in the Super Bowl, fam. It's okay.
I don't think he need 4 touchdowns, but I do think he needs to like at least throw for about 300. He need at least 2 to 3 touchdowns, and the big plays he make can't look like mistakes, like things that just like, again, like the ball bounced off a man's face mask and like you caught it. That's not like you threw some perfect ball and like you got down to the 5. No, it bounced. It should have been picked off. So like if we see like tip balls and I don't know, Chris, like a linebacker tip a ball and Christian McCaffrey take it 70 yards to the house, it's not really on you, bro. Like you didn't make the great throws. So I just think he has to make, again, great throws. Doesn't he throw for 300 yards? I don't think got to be 4 touchdowns, but they do got to be about 2 to 3 touchdowns.
The reason I say it's got to be 4 because he's done 2 or 3 a couple times this year, and nigga was like, like he got it. That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
So the shit can't look like Angel in the outfield.
No, right, exactly. It can't look like Mitchell's 6 touchdown game when we knew them shits was like the most wide open touchdowns of all time, floating them bitches. But we'll get into a full preview on Friday when we give our picks. But the last storyline, it's the Taylor Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Taylor Swift Bowl. Is the final storyline. She just came off. By the way, I love Jay-Z, but can I say this? I was gonna say this for Summer Sessions tomorrow, but nigga, please. And the reason I say nigga, please is because you still gonna go to the Grammys. I don't like when rappers do this whole anti-Grammy shit just to keep going to the goddamn Grammys. Okay. Either be anti or don't go at all.
Here's my thing about all this thing. Granted, yes, I do think at some point in time, there's probably should have been the time in which Beyonce probably should have won an Album of the Year award. maybe Kanye as well, maybe should have won one. But do we look at the people who be winning these awards?
Nope.
Like,
Thank you.
bro, Beyonce lost to Adele. There's no shame in losing to Adele. It's fucking Adele.
I saw
Harry
somebody
Styles.
tweet today. I saw
Taylor
somebody tweet today. Adele doesn't move me. Yeah, Adele move everybody else.
Adele like, bro, like, listen. I know we love our black queens, and you know we want and you know we want them to be as exalted as possible. But it's fucking Taylor Swift, G. Like, we not talking about a regular human being here. Like, she's been in the game since 2006. She's worked very hard for the position she's in. I think she deserves the things that she gets. And then people was lying like, oh, I've never heard a Taylor Swift song. You're fucking lying. You are fucking lying, bro. There's no way you never heard Shake It Off. There's no way you never heard Bad Blood. There's no way you never heard Blank Space. You're lying.
I've never heard any of them songs.
Yes, you have. You go to Target.
No, I've not.
You
Yes,
I don't
you
pay
have,
attention
bro.
to what's
You
being
listen
paid
to
in
it.
Target.
You don't.
You've heard it. You just didn't know what it was. You've
Yeah,
heard
you
it.
didn't
But if I don't-
intentionally. You didn't
But
intentionally
look,
pull it up.
me and Pavi had this debate all the time because Pavi will play some shit and I will not be paying attention at all. So technically, I heard it, but if I don't remember I heard it, I didn't hear it. Like, if you
I
told me
guarantee
a
you, if
name,
I guarantee if I play Shake It Off right now, you can be like, oh damn, I heard this song before.
the only Shake It Off I know is Mariah Carey. Let's
Okay.
be
Nigga,
very
you
clear.
heard Shake It Off. Stop.
It's been in several movies, G. It's been in several
Hey,
movies.
G, you heard Shake It Off.
I've never paid. If okay, look, heard
The
it and know
cinephile
what
you
I'm
are.
hearing.
The cinephile
Yeah,
you
exactly.
are.
Yeah,
You
okay.
heard
I
that
probably
song.
heard it, but when I'm saying I heard it, if I don't know what I'm listening to, so that's what people say. When I say, like I said on the show last week, you put a gun in my head and tell me name 2 Taylor Swift songs, I'm gonna be dead. I know Bad Blood, and that's only because Kendrick's on it. That's it. So I don't know any other
You
names.
heard
of any
Bad
other
Blood,
songs.
but you ain't heard Shake It Off. They
I don't even remember hearing Bad Blood, but I know the name and the title only because Kendrick's on it. I can't name a lyric outside of what Dante sung the other day on the show.
And again, my whole thing with that be like, you know, there are people who exist in other worlds that would say the same thing about
100%.
artists that we love.
100%. I'm not naive to that. I'm just, when I say I don't hear, I'm not using that as disrespect to her. I'm just telling you from what I listen to. I can't name 5 Gunna songs because I don't listen to that nigga like that.
There's a huge difference between Gunna and Taylor Swift.
Obviously, no, I'm not.
You can ignore
obviously,
Gunna.
no,
You can ignore Gunna.
obviously. My point is, if it's not, if it's not in my world, I don't know the song.
And you've heard 5 Gunna songs, by the way. I know you've heard 5.
I said I can't name 5 Gunna songs.
Okay.
I can't name 5 Gunna songs. That's just, but anyway, it's the Taylor Swift Bowl. Taylor Swift just won Album of the Year last year. She's first artist to win it 4 times. But what I was saying about Jay-Z, the reason I say nigga please is because you still came to the Grammys and they gave you that made up Grammy, which I hate to say it was made up Grammy. That was a make sure Jay and Beyonce show up Grammy. Like 100%. That's why they canceled the Rock Nation brunch and all that other shit.
Oh man, come on, man. That's the second ever Dr. Dre Global Outreach Award.
Okay, and Dr. Dre shouldn't have that away either. Well, that's the Summer Sessions conversation we're not getting into on this show.
He paid for that.
He paid for some other shit too.
That's a healthy dose. You wrong. Oh shit.
Yeah, we're not getting to that on this show. Tune in to Summer Sessions tomorrow if you want to hear my take on why Dr. Dre shouldn't be having an awards named after him. But anyway, if you got sick of Taylor Swift last night, you're gonna be real sick of her if the fucking Chiefs win this coming Sunday and she's hoisting that Lombardi trophy. It's gonna be the number 1 images on Getty Images, and it's gonna be pinned to the NFL IG and Twitter page. Just really the question I have for this is, what do you think, like how many Taylor Swift related questions do you think Travis Kelce is gonna get during his media day this week? I'm gonna go to the media man himself, Bang, first.
Nigga, don't ask me that shit. Cause I ain't got an answer for you. That's just unlimited. That's just unlimited, fam. You can't even put a number because you got to realize it's not just the reporters that's going to be at media day. It's going to be all of the
entertainment tonight.
The entertainment. No, not even just entertainment tonight. Okay, not just that. It's the comedians, the random ass people that just be around there for like talk shows and shit. What's my man name that was on Conan? The Spanish dude.
Oh, my man Guillermo.
Yeah, niggas like niggas like Guillermo and all that shit that's gonna be asking questions and all that stuff. So no, I can't put a number to it. It's gonna be an unlimited amount. there probably be. I know there's going to be more Taylor Swift questions than it is about him and George Kittle. I can tell you that much. Hey, y'all might as well. Hey, he might, if he wants to answer a football question, he might as well just stay home because all his questions gonna be. So hey, so Taylor won Album of the Year at the Grammys. What type of week can it be for the Kelsey Taylor Swift household if you win the Super Bowl and she wins Album of the Year in 1 week? Hey man, you say a household like we getting married. So when do you plan on proposing? I don't plan on proposing anytime soon. Well, so you don't love Taylor Swift? I didn't say I didn't love Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. Well, how come you're not going to propose to her? Well, what do you mean? I just told you. I don't know. So you invented the fade, huh? Like, it's going to be so much shit outside of football where Travis Kelce just going to be like, man, fuck this shit. I'm out. I'm tired.
I got a different question for Pappy. I'm going to frame this different question. I'm a different question for you. I'm going to start with Pav. Why do you think people are so anti-Taylor Swift with Super Bowl? And just in general, I feel like I see like a certain kind of disgust on social media. I'm like, what did this woman do to y'all?
Because she's very white.
Okay, there's a lot of very white artists out there.
Yeah, but she's really, really white. Like she's like really, really white. Like you have like, what's another white lady? Like fucking Adele. Adele is like UK white. It's different. Taylor Swift is like middle of America.
Don't do that to Adele because Adele got swag. Don't you do that to Adele.
No, but that's what I was saying though. That's what I was saying.
That's
like
the point.
she's London white. Like it's a little different. It's European.
Okay, I ain't never been to London. My bad.
It's a little different. Taylor Swift is like
you got your passport.
He gonna be there in 48 hours. He gonna be there in 48 hours. Don't get
Taylor Swift. You been to Brixton.
Taylor Swift is like middle of America white. So it's like really different. And then also it's like the way that a lot of the way that a lot of people got introduced to her was through the Kanye West thing because of the Beyonce thing. So there's always a thing that people dislike her for that. Granted, I knew who she was. You Belong to Me. I fucking love that song. I even liked the video. But again, people think that, you know, whether you're right or wrong, people think that Beyonce should have won. So it's also tied up in the like, oh, the mediocre white woman is winning things over like this powerful black woman that we see, and we also don't like it. So like it's all tied up into that. It's like very like racially tied up into it, and things like that. So I think that that's why the Taylor Swift just gets people like so riled up because she's just like the whitest white woman you can possibly find.
Hey, Pappy, can I give you a small rebuttal real quick?
What's up?
Because I've dated a white woman. Dated a white woman.
Like rest area in the middle of Missouri white.
Fam, Wyoming white.
Oh my goodness.
I'd say like, damn, nigga. How you do that? I don't think it's because she's white, but I noticed this at every award show. She acts surprised for no fucking reason at all. Like, I don't know if that shit's real or not. Let's talk about the Grammys last night. Watch when they announces the award, saying the Grammy Awards for Album of the Year goes to Taylor Swift. She goes,
white, middle of America, white.
Oh my God, guys!
I think this is a role. I think she's not. It's not that it's white. She acts like humble. Yes, it's the fake humble girl, white girl in high school that she still acts like, and she's 30 fucking 5, and she still act like that white girl in high school that don't know that she's the most popular girl in school. That's what it is. I've met white girls. This one right here, she acts like she's the senior in school that's shocked. Anytime she wins some shit, prom queen comes up and they say the prom queen is Taylor Swift. Oh my God. Bitch, you know everybody voted for you. Why is you acting like this? You know goddamn well everybody voted for you. And then she get up there on the stage like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I love you all. I like to thank Billy. I like to thank Chuck. Like, that's what it is. That shit is so fake humble for me.
Basically, she's saying basically saying she like every actor on Succession who won. And they're like, oh, I can't believe I won after being nominated 40
what's
times.
that movie? What's that movie with Reese Witherspoon where they was running for the high school. What's the name? Damn, what's the name of that damn movie? And she gave head to one of the teachers.
I know which movie you're talking about. The name.
That shit though. Like
Yeah.
that shit though. She's the girl who surprised that she won prom queen, knowing goddamn well everybody voted for her. Bitch, stop acting so surprised and shit. You ain't that goddamn humble, but you act nice in front of everybody and want to shake everybody's hand. Hi, I'm Taylor. Bitch, I know. I know. You know you Tyler. You know you Taylor. Stop doing that. Bitch, you know you won 3 of these bitches already. Why are you shocked? Just go up to the stage and be like, yo, I like to thank everybody, you know. So don't get up on the stage like, oh my God, I did not expect to win this award. I don't know what to say.
It's kind of like you know, I hate when people go up there and they win, they try to congratulate people who they beat. I think Beyonce should have won this. Like that shit that would piss me off. Like, bitch, don't say my name. Like the fuck. But let's Dante, and then we'll go into the NBA. Dante, you've been embraced by the Swiftness. What do you want to see this with?
I want this shit to be over with. That's really all I want. Like that's really it. Like I agree with like everything that was said, but also you got a faction of people that just don't like women. Like they don't like successful women, and they just get weird about it. And they just they've gotten very weird about it.
That's the name, Bane. Legally Blonde was the movie. Thank you.
No.
Very good film.
No, Legally Blonde is the movie where she was the lawyer. Now I'm gonna find the damn movie. Hold on.
Okay.
Y'all keep talking.
We gotta have Reese Witherspoon classic stuff here.
But no, like you said, it's the most popular woman in the world. It's one of those two Americas things where people don't realize just because you don't like something doesn't mean there aren't millions of other people out there that fucking love it. And so, like Taylor, like Pavi said, she's been in the game for a very long time. And one thing I've noticed from a lot of people who do push back on like Beyonce fans and just fans in general, they'll say, well, you know, Taylor writes her own music. So like that's something that the people out there, like the purists, as they like to say, they try to throw that out there. So, you know, she's an extremely popular shorty, but it's time to wrap this shit up, bro. Like win or lose, we don't really need to do this no more.
Or old school, my family used to have debates about Prince Michael Jackson. Like, did that nigga play piano? Like, it'd be stuff like that. Mikey Dance, can a nigga play trombone? Like, shit like that. Like, one of them old. It says Election is the movie. Is that the movie we talking about, buddy? Election is the movie.
Election, yes.
Election. There we go.
Election.
That's my man Rome in the chat.
Election. Yep. That's
my man
Rome.
Like
that motherfucker.
We still don't want Drake May, nigga. Just letting you know. Shout out my man Rome. But let's get into weekend in the association. Let's bring up Pavi's smooth ass graphic that he got up on here. Weekend in association every Monday here on HB Media on I'm Not Gonna Hold You, where Pavi breaks down topics from this past weekend in the NBA, man. This first topic I want to go over. It was actually an idea but something I tweeted over the weekend. A lot of people agree with me, but Knicks fans did not agree with me. But it's something I see coming like a Mack truck that's coming down the fucking expressway. The 2023-2024 New York Knicks are the 2010-2011 Chicago Bulls. Exciting point guard, really good. Not granted, is Jalen Brunson better than Derrick Rose? Absolutely not. To go off that debate that y'all had on Hoops and Brews, which Thomas was tripping. He's not Derrick Rose by any stretch of the means. The team reminds me a lot of them. Really good player. I think Julius Randle was a slightly better version of Carlos Boozer. I think they've got a good group of others. They play well. How's the disrespect for Boozer?
You gotta stop the random.
Is Julius Randle not better than that nigga?
He's a lot better.
Is Julius Randle not better than that nigga? A lot better? No.
Yes. I think Julius Randle is a lot better than Carlos Boozer. Then the version of Carlos Boozer that the Bulls got.
I don't know about a lot, but this is what I'm saying. So I would say Carlos Boozer. The Carlos Boozer of this team is Julius Randle. Got a real good team. They play good defense. They play hard, and it's a Tibbs team. The city loves them. Best New York Knicks team of the year. But I see where this is going. And I'm not even 100% sure they can make the conference finals like that Bulls team did. But there's one thing I remember about that Bulls run. The signs were there before they got to the conference finals. That series against the Pacers. way too goddamn long. That was the first sign, and they did what they needed to do against the Atlanta Hawks that year. But I see that same thing here, where I feel like unless they make a significant addition, and we'll get into that later in the show, what that addition could be, I don't think that they can actually do the things that Knicks fans are hoping them to do, and that's make it to the NBA Finals. Pavi, what do you think about my comparison?
I'm with it. Yes, I'm with it. I think that, even like if you look at Luol Deng, OG, I think it's very comparable. You have a wing who can score, but also it's probably more so there for his defense. Obviously, Randall, I think he's a lot better than Carlos Boozer, but he is their version of that for them. Brunson, again, D Rose is better than Brunson, but I can understand how, somebody might look at what Brunson is doing this season and say that I would not agree and say that it's somewhat comparable to what Rose did. Then you also have other really nice pieces, like you have Josh Hart. If I'm not mistaken, was Keith Bogans or was Ronnie Brewer on that team?
Both of them, wasn't it?
Both of them niggas was on that team.
Both, they both on the team.
Yeah. You got Hart, you got DiVincenzo. I really and then even like Harkenstein, Noah, whatever, Robinson. Like, yes, this team is this team screams Tibbs. It's a team that's molded for a guy like him. I mean, even look at like the minutes Randall was playing. That's like peak Tibbs. He playing like 38 minutes a night. He was doing the same thing with him that he was doing with Luol Deng. And for me, yes, I do think that there are other moves that could be made. I think if you can get Evan Fournier's contract off and maybe you can add a pick with that, maybe you can bring back in something else that can really help you. But for me, the main thing with the Knicks is honestly just health. Again, I can see that if the Knicks were healthy, I would like this team much more. I know Randall has the dislocated shoulder at the moment. I know he's going to be out for at least like a month or two. Hopefully he can come back and be ready. But again, the biggest thing for me is Mitchell Robinson. Like, I can think if Mitchell Robinson was there with also Harkenstein, that's a very formidable front line. You have 2 7-footers instead of just like 1 7-footer who you're playing basically at this point 40 minutes because you're not getting much out of Jericho Sims, and Precious isn't really a center. He's more of a 4. So for me, the biggest thing with this Knicks team is health. And again, the reason why I think that they can be a conference finals team is because I'm not that convinced about anybody else in the East. I mean, look at the Sixers. Embiid just went down. We don't even know if he's going to be back. And if he does come back, okay. The Bucks got their own set of problems. They ain't won since Doc didn't got there. The Celtics, it's just like, I like the Celtics, but the Celtics always do things to make me not believe in Boston. Like, there is no Heatles in this Eastern Conference that when I look at the Knicks team, I'm just like, oh, there's no possible way that they can beat this team. So that's why, like, whatever the Knicks did this year wouldn't shock me. Even if they, for some weird reason, made it to the NBA Finals, I wouldn't be floored. I would not put my money on them to do it, but I would not be floored if it happens, because when I look at the landscape of the rest of the Eastern Conference, I'm just not convinced by anybody that's there.
This is my counterpoint to that. I would be shocked because I think obviously they're a better team than last year, obviously. But they had a hard time checking Jimmy Butler. I don't think defensively they're any different than they were last year. I think yes. Okay, OG, I like OG. On Jimmy Butler, I don't think so. I really don't. Okay. I don't think he's not moving the needle on Jimmy Butler not being playoff Jimmy. I just don't see that. Yes, dude, the Celtics side of the question, me and you question the Celtics more than anybody out there, to the point that they call us Jason Tatum haters. I don't know what the fuck the Milwaukee Bucks are doing defensively. That the way they lost to the Jazz last night, they need they fucking ass beat. So yes, I have questions about them, but we all know in the NBA 7-game series, it's about superstars. I have zero questions about Jalen Brunson. I know you like Julius Randle. You have faith in him to back up Jalen Brunson for an entire 2 7-game series to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. If you can say he can do that, then yeah, I can see a world where they can beat, those two teams. I just don't see that happen on a consistent basis, because since he's been with the Knicks, he just doesn't have a good playoffs. Like it's just not who he is. And I don't think that's going to change. And you have teams where, the Bucks and the Celtics, they kind of like, they need this shit to work, especially the Celtics in the 7-game series. I just don't see that happening. I don't think Jalen Brunson is going to take them over the top. So I'd be shocked they made this conference finals. I'll be stunned if they made the NBA Finals.
Again, You do have OG this year, who OG is still realistically granted, he's not incredible, but I think he spaces the floor better for what you need. Like, he's a much better shooter than what RJ is. He is a superstar in his role, and he still is 18 points. And for Randall, we have to remember, granted, he was out there on the court, but he did go get ankle surgery. If I'm not mistaken, it was ankle surgery immediately after the season. So he wasn't out there his healthiest last year. And then if we look at the second option on every other team in the East, do we forget what Jaylen Brown was doing last year?
No,
He
yeah, but yeah.
like, he wasn't.
Who you have more faith in, Jaylen Brown or Julius
It's
Randle?
about the same. G, I ain't gonna hold you, bro.
I don't know about that, dog.
I like, bro. Honestly, bro, depending on the day, I ain't gonna hold you. But about the same. And then when I look at the Bucks, I mean, yes, granted, Giannis is Giannis. Giannis is gonna do whatever Giannis is gonna do. But then when it comes to like Dame, and then when it comes to CJ, like, I'm realistically, why can't Jalen Brunson outplay Dame? Why can't OG outplay Chris Middleton? Now the Giannis thing is interesting. Ooh, you're not gonna do what?
Jalen Brunson's not outplaying Dame, bro.
I think
In a 7-game series,
I think in today's day and age that can happen. If this was 2-3 years ago, I don't know, but I think right now in 2024 that can happen. So again, like I said, and real quick, I just think the natural progression of the Knicks at least is conference finals. Like you may first round, you got to the second round, it's at least conference finals. Finals maybe. Let
me phrase this. Okay, conference finals wouldn't shock me depending on the seeding. If they can avoid Celtics, Bucks in the first round, yes, I can see conference finals. They can beat all them niggas under them. They can beat Philly. I think they could beat Philly even if Joel Embiid was playing. So I can see it. Finals is crazy to me. I know finals is insanity in my personal opinion. Dante, what do you think about do you think, like, which side are you on as far as like the Brunson debate? Do they remind you of the 2010 to 2011 Chicago Bulls?
No, very much so. And like you said, and I think that's with every Tibbs team. Every team he's put together, there's always that ceiling that they end up hitting. So like, I agree, conference we said this last time. I think going to the finals should be the goal, but with this team, the conference finals is somewhere where that should be the floor. And I think that's very possible. And with the similarities that you all pointed out, I could definitely see it. But that seeding is going to be key. And even though it's not too many teams, bro, that just the way the East is made up, it's not too many teams that scare me in any series.
I'm real. There's not a lot of teams in the NBA playoff wild. I think this is going to be a very
the way runs happen. Yeah, the way runs happen, the way teams play. Who's going to be the healthiest as we go into the playoffs? That's going to determine a lot. So we talked about Julius's shoulder and the injuries that he had. So seeing how he bounces back from that, I think this team has a lot of similarities to that conference finals team that we said.
Yeah, that's the blackest shit ever. Bang got the alarm, smoke alarm in the background.
No, mine's on mute.
No, who shit? We turn it on?
No, that was my air fryer. I tried to play it off.
Oh, okay.
Nigga, you ain't see me go. What the?
I thought you was looking around like this nigga has his air fryer.
Nigga, I was nervous. What are you talking about? Like, yo, who this is?
Man, what you think about this year's Knicks? They give you 2010, 2011 Bulls vibes?
Man, they don't even give me that. They give me Atlanta Hawks vibes, fam. And I ain't even talking about the one that just went to the Eastern Conference Finals that they.
You talking about 90s Hawks?
I'm talking about that year when the Hawks won the division. Nah, I'm talking about Danny Manning and Mookie.
Yeah, that's what you talking about. 90s. Yeah, you talking about 90s Hawks.
Yeah, like
Tumbo, Steve Smith, them.
Tumbo shakes the finger. Michael shakes the finger. Mike Dunk with Tumbo ass.
Yeah, I'm talking about them niggas that thought they had the Bulls and shit and got their ass swept. Like, the Atlanta Falcons is that team, that one team that just for years just always went to the playoffs and had a good seed and just ran into the Bulls and got their ass whooped. The New York Knicks is gonna run into somebody and get their ass whooped in the second round of the playoffs. So that's who they remind me of. They got some good pieces. They need one more though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because they need one more guy.
This team is playing so hard to get to the position where they at. By the time they get to the playoffs, niggas gonna be winded, fam. Let me just say this. This is a great story now. But after 82 games, niggas gonna be in the playoffs like, shit, we gotta do this again. So, yeah, nah, they remind me of them Atlanta Falcons teams.
I'm glad. I'm like how you can say the Falcons and the Hawks, and it's the same thing. It's
Y'all
the
know
same
what I
thing.
mean.
It don't
Today's
even
the
matter.
anniversary of 28-3. Yeah,
Right, exactly. And here's the thing, too. We talk about them needing help. Who else would be better help than Mr. LeBron Raymond James? I just want to give LeBron credit for being me and Bang Bang always says content is king. Nobody creates content better than LeBron James. LeBron knew exactly what the fuck he was doing these last 72 hours. First of all, the trade smoke over on Friday. Could he go? You got Rich Paul coming out. Oh, we are not expecting to get traded. As we all look at the words that they're saying, not that we don't want to get traded, not that I don't think that it's not going to happen. We're not expecting. Then he sits out that game against the Celtics. They beat the Celtics, which the Celtics need to ass beat for that shit. And then this weekend, big Saturday game at the Garden. LeBron's like, is he gonna play? Is he gonna not play? Then we see the quotes that came out in the pregame. Or I always thought about playing in the Knicks in New York. I love the Garden. It's my favorite place to play. Then a little YouTube video, not YouTube, but Instagram video the NBA posted of him walking up the ramp into Madison Square Garden. He's got the Knicks colored LeBrons on. He said, Mr. James is in the Garden. And things like that. And then the ultimate troll, doing the post-game interview with the Knick towel on. I will say this. First of all, I do not. If y'all thought Laker fans and LeBron James was a match made in hell, you have seen nothing from New Yorkers if LeBron James goes to play in Madison Square Garden. We won't hear the fucking end of it. So as somebody who I got a lot of New York homies, I don't want to see them happy with their sports teams. I don't want it to happen. But from LeBron James' perspective, LeBron's never gonna go 6 for 6 for Mike, but he can have the legacy of, nigga, I am the system. I went everywhere and won a championship. I brought a championship to bum ass Cleveland. I won 2 titles in Miami. I brought the Lakers back to prominence and won them a championship. And now I'm going to do something that never been done and have the Knicks win a championship at 40 years old, nigga. He has a player option. I'm not saying that it will happen because I really think he loves Los Angeles and loves the Lakers, but he's flirting with it hard. And if there's anything we've known about LeBron, at least from the last 14 years since he's been Mr. Move Around, he don't do this stuff just to do this stuff. I feel like it's a personal, telling Jenny Buss and Rob Pelinka, nigga, don't take me for granted because I will opt out and go somewhere else. And if you're the Knicks, I know there's Knicks fans out there say they don't want that. You're full of fucking shit. That would be a perfect fit to me, in my personal opinion. And we just talked about how non-convincing the East is. I wouldn't trade for LeBron. Let's get that very clear. I wouldn't trade shit for him. But if he opts out and you want to bring in a free agent, I'm down for it. Pav, what do you feel about LeBron's intentional trolling? And do you think that him going to the Knicks is an actual realistic thing that can
happen? I'm over trying to figure out what LeBron gonna do to keep it G with you. Like, I don't know. For actual basketball reasons, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I mean, if you just look at it lineup wise, like you could slide OG to the 3. Well, not the 3, the 2. You could keep Bron at the 3, and you have Randall. I mean, Bron's been, I think, spot up shooting. He's actually been about 40% this season, I think, on like spot up threes. He's also played with ball dominant guards before. So like, him and Brunson, I think they could figure it out. And that he wouldn't take too much away from Brunson. I think that I don't think you would have seen this Jalen Brunson if he would have stayed with Dallas. But obviously, I think Bron's played with Kyrie, so I think he knows how to get out of a guard's way. You still have OG there, you still have Randall. If it's next season, you have Mitchell Robinson, even if it's this season, whatever. So for basketball reasons, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. I'm just kind of annoyed with the whole LeBron James and trade deadline and Lakers and everything else. It's just like, I don't really know, bro. I don't know. Like, I honestly have no idea. I don't.
You tired of the
it's just like, bro.
thing,
Like, it's just like, bro. Like, I guess, bro. If you want to go to New York, G, cool, bro. I'm gonna watch it, bro. Like, really at this point, I'm gonna cut the TV on. I'm gonna watch it. It'll be a great story. Yes, if you would do something where you went in Miami, you went in New York, and you went in LA, that's a resume that nobody has had and nobody might ever put up again. But at the same time, it's just like, you got it, bro. At 40.
At 40.
And again, like if you're smart, you played it. I don't know what the Knicks cap space situation looks like after this season, but if you're smart, you just play this season out. And I mean, LeBron taking less might be kind of like weird as far as like just labor wise, and it might set a weird precedent. But if you want to go there, take like a contract, like like less money, find a way to get you like $10-15 million and join that team that's already put together. And if you could be the thing that helps them get over the hump, cool. Or again, the Knicks do have some contracts at the end of that bench that they could, but they have the Evan Fournier deal, who he's getting paid $20 million. You do have like a pick. Maybe you could do Fournier a package or something to the Lakers. The Lakers wouldn't get nothing back, but I mean, you will get a pick. So you can at least like revamp your whatever you're trying to do. So again, basketball reasons, it's not the worst thing in the world. You could make it make sense, but I'm just kind of like, whatever, bro, you got it.
Bane, does LeBron Knicks move the needle for you, or is he just being a troll per usual? You were on mute again, brother.
No, I'm not.
You weren't saying that. All right.
Yeah, I wasn't saying nothing because I just had to take a deep breath because unfortunately it does move the needle because it's New York. To have the best player or one of the best players, because currently that man is 39 going on 40 and he's still one of the best players in the NBA. And some people could argue that man top 5 and he going on 40 years old. To have that man in New York is something. And this ain't like Patrick Ewing going to Seattle or Hakeem Olajuwon going to Toronto. This is somebody who's still out here getting it, going to the Knicks. It does unfortunately move the needle for me. I don't want to deal with this shit though, and unfortunately, we have this situation where we have LeBron James, who is trying to win a championship, and in trying to win a championship, he's trying to go in the best team he can, but he can't go to Milwaukee, he can't go to Philly, he can't go to Boston, he can't go to none of these teams. So you start to look at those second-tier teams, and just so happens that the team in the number one market in the United States could use a player like LeBron James in the Mecca. So it does unfortunately move the needle.
Dante, what you think about Bronny in the Mecca?
At this point, we've consistently said he's chasing ghosts, which he is. So I'll say this. There are only 2 cities LeBron James can go play in where he can actually do some shit that make people say, oh, shit. One is New York and the other one is Chicago. Other than that, that's it.
The other one's not going to happen.
Yeah, we know. I'm just saying that's just literally the only 2. Like,
I'm still laughing about you they bring him in and have him take a picture with the Mike statue.
Yeah, like just coming to Chicago, winning the ring at 40 in my crib, that would be different. But no, I think you said the Knicks absolutely moves his needle. His legacy, winning everywhere he's been, that's something that no one else can say that they've done. And if you can do that with 4 franchises, that's just something that's, already you're gonna hold every other record. You feel me? For the most part. And so for you to, if you were able to do that, that would put him on a different plateau. So it definitely moves the needle.
You talk about the Bulls, so I'm going to hand this off to Pav here, man. Zach LaVine will be undergoing season-ending foot surgery. Just a question to you. Because I have nothing to say about this. One, did they get sold a lemon? The Bulls, did they get sold a lemon? And what does this even change? Like for me as a Bulls fan, it's just like, okay, it's that point, like, does it even fucking matter? Like, I hope Zach gets better. Obviously, I don't want Zach hurt. But, like, this to me doesn't change anything for the Bulls. It's not like they're like, oh, well, nigga, the nigga we've been trying to trade for the last month and a half. Guess we need to pack it in now.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't think it really changes it. I mean, anything for the franchise. I think it's just, just another case of bad luck. I mean, again, 2-3 years ago, was it 2.5 years ago now? Maybe it's 3?
2 years.
You were top of the Eastern Conference. And granted, I was not one of those people who thought they were going to make much noise in the playoffs, but you still had, a resurgence in Chicago Bulls basketball. Man, like I said, the women was back at the games. Gee, I saw mad women at the games. I ain't seen a woman at a Bulls game about 3 months now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you had the city back excited about basketball. You had it, and Lonzo goes down. Also, Zach really ain't been the same since he had that knee injury in the playoffs. He really hasn't been the same since then, in my personal opinion. Like, I don't think he's ever really fully recovered. Unfortunately, you decided to pay him $200 million, but you kind of had to pay him $200 million if you weren't going to trade him that last year of that deal. You had to pay him. But at this point, bro, the Bulls just break it down. Like, what are we doing? What are we actually doing? Break it all down. Get bad. You're consistently in this position where you're never actually that bad, meaning you're gonna get a late lottery pick, meaning you either have to get really lucky or draft really good to get a star or superstar. Like, not too many Giannis's is popping up at 15. Not even too many Donovan Mitchells is popping up at 13 or 14, whatever he got drafted. So, like, not too many Devin Bookers is popping up at 14 either. So you either have to get really lucky in the draft, or you have to scout really, really well. Just break it all down, bro. Trade DeMar, trade Vooch. See what you really got in Kobe White. See if Kobe White is like gonna be an actual thing for the future. You got Patrick Williams is coming up this offseason. See if that's something that you want to keep around, or maybe you look to trade him. Just break it all down. Trade everybody. Like, we're just prolonging the inevitable at this point. What you're gonna get? You're gonna be the 9th, 10th seed, maybe the 8th seed, probably losing the play-in, and get the 13th pick in the draft. Like, what are we doing, bro? Reboot it, rebuild, get bad to get good again, and just cut your losses. You tried again. So many things with the Bulls. To me, it's not. I know Bulls fans get frustrated and think it's bad management, but so many things aren't necessarily bad management, and it's just like, it's actually just very unlucky. Even going back to D Rose, he tears his ACL the year before his fucking rookie extension kicks in. Like, so the first year he's playing, he's out. He's making all this money and is out. Same thing with Lonzo. Lonzo come in playing good, his career might be over. Zach comes in, he's playing good, he gets knee issues, whatever. So just tear it down. Rebuild, it's over with. God bless Zach. Get well soon, brother.
This is why I slightly disagree that it has a lot to do with ownership. Not ownership, but just management. Because even if you look at prior to D Rose, those situations in 29 to 2010, we had opportunities to get an Amari Stoudemire or get, guys like that caliber. You didn't want to give up on certain guys like a Tyrese Thomas.
What happened to Amari Stoudemire?
It's not. We're looking at that as after. That wasn't the reason that they didn't do it. They didn't do it.
That was a thing too. Like, that was like, I vividly remember that summer. There was a report that Phoenix said we're letting Amari go because his knees have like 1 to 2 years left. That was a thing.
I mean, look,
it's the Bulls. I mean, the Knicks were the Knicks were the only team. The Knicks were the only team to offer him the contract without the insurance.
Yeah.
Before Derrick Rose got hurt, you lose to the Heat. You're like, oh, let's get Richard Hamilton. Like, they never did anything to actually give them a shot to actually beat the Heat. Like, you have a good team like that, you don't build that. Look at the Lonzo shit. Lonzo got hurt. They have literally not made a move since Lonzo got hurt. It's the same team. It's like they're banging their heads into a wall.
No, bro. Like,
I'm not the general manager, nigga. That's not my job.
No, but listen. Like, even if you go back to the Richard Hamilton thing. The way we looked at Richard Hamilton in a Bulls uniform wasn't the way he was looked at exactly when he was coming over from Detroit.
2012, yes, it was.
Also, I remember this. You wanted Jamal Crawford. Why the fuck?
Did.
Gee.
Jamal Crawford was better than Richard Hamilton in 2012.
We have a Tibbs team that plays defense. Why are we signing Jamal Crawford, bro? To play in the backcourt next to D Rose.
First of all, the skeleton of Richard Hamilton did not play defense in 2012. He did not play defense. This is not 2006 Richard Hamilton.
No version of Jamal Crawford played any defense ever.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
He could never
you at least get some points. Richard Hamilton wouldn't even getting you baskets in 2012.
Like, bro, the thing with the Bulls they have these catastrophic things, and it's like there's no real way to.
They don't even try to. It. Like, Lonzo got hurt, it's fucked up. But what have they done since then?
You haven't done anything. They did pick up Pat Bev. Pat Bev, a guy who plays defense. He
Pat played well, and then they didn't bring him back.
They picked up Javon Carter. He's younger.
Okay, no man.
It's just like what you want them to do, bro.
Can we be honest for a second? Can we just be honest?
Go ahead.
Give up.
He literally give up, bro.
It's over. It's over. Listen to me, because I hear you when you say get bad and draft. These niggas' last 2 first-round picks don't start. Like,
but that's
they
my
don't
point. That
they
goes-
don't
but
identify
that
talent
goes
well.
to management, bro.
So,
That's my point. It's going
with
to
Cooks,
front office
it's
management.
over.
Because the front office stinks because they have bad ownership. That's my whole point.
To also be fair, if you got so fucking bad, you got the number one pick. It's harder to fuck that up than picking 8th or 9th.
Yeah, but they didn't trade. How many?
But
A
you
matter of
gotta
fact,
get the
we
number
need
one pick.
we need to get bad this year because our pick is only top 8 protected.
Yep.
So like this whole middle of the road shit is not gonna work because you're gonna get that pick up.
But y'all are just going with my point is. Pavi was saying it's not a front office thing. It is a front office thing because if the front office had any fucking smarts, they realize this shit's just not gonna fucking happen. Let's just get bad. But what they're gonna do, they're gonna just keep running. I would be stunned if we doing a Friday show here and the Bulls traded these niggas. I will be stunned if Alex Caruso, motherfucking DeMar DeRozan, and just them two niggas at least or Drummond are still here. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, man. Let's get to a couple more. We're gonna wrap this up, man. MVP race. Embiid is cooked. He's about to have meniscus surgery. He's gonna miss extended period of time. Pav, who do you think should be the MVP favorite now? Now the Embiid is not gonna be in the running for it.
I think you got to go Shea. I think you got to go Shea just because of one. I mean, number one, the man's averaging 30. I think he's leading the league in steals still. He's giving you 6 assists, about 6 rebounds. And I was somebody who thought the Thunder might possibly be a top 4 seed. I didn't see them being number 1 in the Western Conference, though. And when you look at who Shea's playing with, granted, Chet's having a good rookie year. Jalen Williams has gotten a lot better. A lot of progression in his sophomore season, but he's not playing with he's not playing on paper with the level of talent that, let's say, Anthony Edwards is playing with, or that a Jason Tatum is playing with, or that a Giannis is playing with, or that a Kawhi is playing with, or that a Jokic is playing with. So to me, when you just look at what Shea is doing with this basketball team, I think it has to be Shea. Especially if they keep winning games, as long as they don't slip down and fall too much. I think it has to be Shea. I think that's the really like the only other place that you can go with it, in my personal opinion, was to be to give it to Shea Gilgeous. Since Embiid seems like he's kind of out of the picture now. So for me, it's Shea.
Is this? I'm gonna throw a name out there. I want your opinion about who ain't nobody talking about, and I feel like needs to be talking about. Kawhi Leonard should be in this MVP race.
He
Kawhi
should be in the
Leonard's
MVP race. The problem with Kawhi is he has so much talent on his team, and his numbers aren't his surface numbers aren't as gaudy as some other people. Like his surface.
I'm not
numbers
saying he should win, but he should be in the race.
I think he should be like
race.
5th. He should maybe finish 5th or 6th in votes, but it's just that his numbers aren't gaudy enough to warrant. For instance, like more people might even vote for Ant over like
okay. Here's
Kawhi.
my all right. Here's a better question. Then give me your top 4 without Embiid. Who's your top 4 MVP candidates right now? Because you just said Shea. Who are the other 3?
Shea.
Agree.
I think you got to go Tatum just because fucking they number 1. I think you got to go Giannis. You got to go Jokic. And then the last spot is tricky. There's a person who I think should be. He's not gonna get any of these fucking votes, but I'm gonna say it. Rudy Gobert. He's not gonna get any of these votes.
This
but
nigga Pavi loves
No. Here's why. The Minnesota Timberwolves are 2nd in the conference. They're not 2nd because of offense. Their offense is very middle of the road. It's like the 15th offense in the league. They're number 1 in defense. Rudy Gobert is probably going to win Defensive Player of the year this year. Defense is the biggest reason as to why they are winning games. So if defense is the biggest reason as to why you are winning basketball games, and you are the best defensive player, and your team is number 1, number 2 in the conference, have been there all year, I think you deserve some respect and some recognition for that. So if I had to give my 5th spot, I would go Rudy or I would go Kawhi Leonard for those. I would actually tie those 2 at 5.
No Jalen Brunson love?
No a vote.
I fuck with Brunson.
No Jalen
Well, okay.
Brunson?
To be fair, if they keep winning games, yes. If they keep winning games and they can finish the season about like second, third, fair. I would have no problem with that.
Final question is kind of like a 2-parter for you, man. One, what are your expectations for the trade deadline in about 48 hours? Well, not 40, about 72 hours. And number 2, should that shameless Maywood nigga Doc Rivers sit out at All-Star game?
Yeah, man, Doc. I don't know what he gonna do, but Doc, you gotta do something for Adrian Griffin, bro. You still ain't won. Like They ain't won a game with you. You have
No, they
done
won.
nothing.
No, they won one game. They won
Won
one
one
game.
game?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You have done your record about 1-3. You need to do something for Adrian Griffin just out of respect, because Adrian Griffin was the one, you know, he did have the record. He did win those games. So even if he does, I mean, he probably can't say I'm going to sit out the game, but he does need to do something for Adrian Griffin. I think you get paid if you win or something like that. Like, get the money to Adrian Griffin, or like, I think you get like an all-star game ring. He needs to do something for Adrian Griffin, or maybe if he can invite him to be on the staff or something like that. I don't know, but Adrian Griffin deserves some level of respect, because he was the one who coached them to that record. No matter how the players may feel about him, and no matter how we may feel about Adrian Griffin, he did coach that team to that record. As far as the trade deadline goes, I think the Thunder, if they're serious about winning basketball games, serious about making actual playoff noise, can maybe stand and make a move. I think maybe you need to get maybe a actual backup center, or maybe you get a bigger wing. But I think the Thunder are also in a position where it's like, you kind of want to be careful, and you kind of don't want to mess with the chemistry of this group, because you do have a very young group that seems to like each other and bond very well. So it's like, you do maybe think that, well, you know, we got time with this thing, we can just let this thing grow. But if you're serious about actual playoff success this season, I think you maybe go out there and, like I said, get like a backup center. I think maybe you go out there and get like a backup center, where you go out there and you get maybe a bigger wing. And I only say a bigger wing because I love Lu Dort, but like, even I was at the game with the Clippers Thunder, and it's like PG was just shooting over Lu Dort. Lu Dort was trying his best, but PG 6'9", 6'10", just shooting over the man. So I think you get a bigger wing to pair with Lu Dort at times to help defend. Again, I think the Knicks, as we discussed, Evan Fournier's contract is something that he's getting paid $18 million. Meaning you can at least get you a good role player or two to fill in there and feel what you got going on. I think the Hawks probably need to break it down. If I'm Trae Young, I probably think about putting in a trade request, honestly. Because at this point, I don't know how it gets better in Atlanta for him. I mean, the man's even averaging 27 and 10, and he can't even get an all-star look. And he averaging 27 and 10. So I think that the Hawks at this point probably need to break it all down. I think that when they went to the conference finals on that kind of like fluke, it kind of accelerated their timeline. Falsely accelerated their timeline, but at this point, I think it's probably time to break it all down. Maybe you see what you can get for DeJounte, and maybe you see what you can get for Trae Young. I know Trae Young sells tickets, and again, this is also a business, but at the same time, I at least might put his name out there and see what I can garner. I've heard the Miles Bridges to Phoenix smoke. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And I'm very interested to see where. I'm interested to see where the pieces Portland has ends up. Like, I'm interested to see where Malcolm Brogdon ends up. If I'm the Blazers, I try to get Jeremy Grant out of there. If I'm the Blazers, everybody besides Scoot and Anthony Simons, if you call and you got something that you can offer me, you can have them. And again, like I said, the Bulls break it all down, and the Clippers. I'm not saying you do make a move, but I do think you have some pieces at the end of again, I love their rotation. I love what they have going on, but I do think you have some pieces at the end of the bench that maybe if somebody wants them, a Bones Highland, a PJ Tucker who's not playing, but maybe he's just there for like the vibes, but like a Bones Highland, maybe you can get him out of there and bring in somebody that you feel like you may be more prone to use. So if I had to like pick things, those are the kind of things I'm watching at the trade deadline. Obviously, the Lakers will try to do some bullshit trades to act like they're trying to win basketball games, but it's not gonna happen. And the Nuggets as well. I think the Nuggets could stand to add one more piece back to their bench. I think the Nuggets could stand to add one more piece back to their bench. I like Peyton Watson. I like the improvement of some of their guys, but I think if you can get another veteran in there to come in there off the bench, I think that would be very helpful for them.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a one of those trade deadlines that, like, it's probably gonna be like the role player trade deadline. Like, I don't think this is gonna be something where last year we saw a lot of superstars get traded, man. But that is Weekend Association. That is our show, man. This is good episode today. Shout out to Jeff Allen, who joined us in the first hour, man. Check all that out. We are getting ready to do the local hour. It will be me, Bang, Dante, and Mikey will be joining us as we'll be talking about all the shit going on in the Chicago Bears world, man. Y'all can subscribe to the Patreon to check that episode out. Patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. Network, man, you can sign up for the $5 I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier. That right there is where you can get all of that stuff right now, man. So you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarbChair Scott. You can follow Dante at October Zonte on Twitter. You can follow JR Bang at JR Bang on all platforms. And you can follow Pavy at Pavy World on all platforms and visit his website, pavverbs.com, man. We will holler at y'all on Friday. Cousin Dan Fridays will be back. We'll be recapping the NBA trade deadline, and we'll be having a full Super Bowl previews. We'll be giving our picks to who's going to win the big game on Sunday, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day and rest of y'all week. We up out of here.